being here, all of you. I'm going to. This is expected to be a very short webinar. I'm going to be talking about how Apache Solr can be used to power your news website, and how it can help researchers and journalists find relevant content faster, and their searches can be crisper. So I'm going to actually, without any introductions to Srijan at the beginning, I'm going to jump right to the topic and cover the sort of introductions to Srijan towards the end. So let's look at CNN.com. So I went there and actually searched on China, and look at the number of search results that I get. I get over 21,344 results. This is slightly dated, this presentation. Now it probably must be much more. And the first page shows about 10 articles related to China. Now let's go to the second page, and this is typically how all the pages are presented. So we probably 21,000, we probably have something like 2,100 pages, over 2,100 pages. How do you search across all these pages looking for articles that you really want to reach? The best option you have is to actually go in China, punch in China, and say Mitt Romney or whatever else you want to search for, and hope to find your articles. And it's unlikely that you will get top 5 or 10 articles that you were really looking for, because this is doing a plain text search across the entire article across all of CNN's database. Now let me show you another example of a site we have implemented called openthemagazine.com. Now I did the same search, China, and I got 304 articles. Of course, Open the Magazine is a much smaller magazine, a startup from about 3 years ago, and like a lifestyle magazine in India by one of the RPG group or the Sanjay Goenka group, very large group in India, one of the oldest groups as well. So now let's look at the left hand side. There is actually a box which says search by tag, and then below that search by author. Now I'm shortly going to show you other such. These are called facets. So facets are associated meta information around a piece of content. So let me explain what search by tag does. Before that, when I've searched on China, it's actually the search, Apache Solr has gone within the content, within the body of each article, and done a free text search on the keyword China. That is why you see China highlighted in the articles you see in this screenshot. But all these articles have been tagged as well on openthemagazine.com. So China, for example, so all the articles, the 304 articles that get presented here, out of those 39 articles have been tagged with China, 27 of them have the tag India, 9 of them with Pakistan, economy, and so on and so forth. And let's look at the authors. So there are 31 articles written by the author Ninad D. Sheth, and 14 by Hartosh Singh Bal, a very popular writer now for Open the Magazine and in the journalist circles in India. So similarly we have many more facets. So you can have tag, author, category. Category could be the various kinds of content you have on the site. You could have features, you could have nation, articles on nation, business, lounge. These are all sort of kinds of articles and categories that Open has created. And any news magazine could customize this in Drupal according to their own categorization. You also have photographer and content type, whether this is a blog or an article, and so on and so forth. Now you can have n number of facets or n number of meta information around any piece of content. So this is related information, and these facets actually with Solr act as filters. So how do these filters work? Let's go to the next screen. And so what I've now done is that I searched on the tags India. So all articles which have, let's look at the right hand side widget, and that will probably make it clearer. So I searched on the text keyword China. I clicked the category or the kind of content called articles, and then I clicked on a tag called India and clicked on a tag called finance. So which means that all articles which have the free text in their body called China and have been tagged with India and finance. The moment I click on the make these searches by simply clicking on these tags on the left hand side of the search of the search screen, I get 2 articles. Now this is mighty useful for me as a journalist who's trying to do some research on on China, and which is related with finance and India, and articles appearing on Open the Magazine on these topics. Now imagine CNN, which has probably millions of articles right now. This search would be tremendously useful in a site like that. Let me share actually a live example of one of the implementations we had done for a site called India Environment Portal.org.in. This is India's largest environment portal. They were on 4 disparate databases, and one of a very popular system for library management in India is called Libsys. It probably has a pretty horrible search. In 2007, and if I'm not wrong, we actually migrated from these 4 disparate databases to Drupal. It was Drupal 5 that time, and later moved it to Drupal 6, and then we implemented Apache Solr. And the director of the organization, just about, I think this was 2009 or something, when the director of the organization once, during a meeting, told me that Rahul, this is the first time in 10-15 years that I've been able to dig out articles written by Anil Agarwal, who is the founder of the organization called Center for Science and Environment. And she could dig out articles by him written in 1985 on topics such as the Kosi floods, which happened in India around that time because of a dam that broke in Nepal. So what she was able to do is search on Kosi. Kosi is a river in India, and there is a dam which because of political reasons was sort of never refurbished kind of a thing, and it actually broke, causing a lot of floods in the Bihar region in India. And so she was able to dig out articles from as early as 1985, 86, when discussions on rebuilding the dam were on, and how the government's lethargy actually never allowed anything to happen. So this is tremendous for journalists. All this information when you can dig out with facets. Of course, there is a huge amount of work that any organization has to do with tagging or creating meta information around articles they publish on their site. I mean, that is imperative. You have to have very strong library management using taxonomy, and then you can use Apache Solr to its to its potential. This is an example of another site, not done by us, but this is just to show you an example of what else Apache Solr can do. So this is an example of what is called as spatial searches. So what you can do is, this is actually a restaurant search site. In India, we have a very similar product called Zomato, but you could search on Chinese in as as food, and say in Atlanta, for example, Georgia in US, and you would be thrown up a Google map with Chinese restaurant options in Atlanta within a radius of, I don't know, 5 kilometers, or whatever percentages you sort of set as relevancy in Apache Solr. So essentially, you can actually implement searches on Google Maps. So these are called spatial searches. So and of course then you can have even implement relevance, kinds of relevance. So relevance is a restaurant name, or you could have food rating and so on and so forth, or percentage liked by people and things like that. So all this is possible in Solr. In one of the sites we've implemented for KNR, which is the Greenlandic Broadcasting Corporation in Greenland, we've implemented multilingual searches. So you can search across German, French, Spanish, Danish, Greenlandic, Dutch, and so on and so forth. All the facets would also appear in the choice of the language as well. Further, what I've not shown here is that you can do partial word searches for, and which is for words which say start with, the first 3 letters, as small as 3 letters. It doesn't go down to 2, but you can search words, partial words within larger words as small as 3 letters. And that's possible in Solr as well. So that's sort of about it, but before I go on to explain this, what I also want to share a little about, some other movements on our implementation of Apache Solr with some other sites. We've implemented something called networktoday.com, and over there, all the views, all the, that is a classified search website. So you can actually go to, search for companies which produce electronic goods, for example, and you click on a category called electronic goods, and all the listings that show up. Now, normally all such listings would show up in using database queries, right? And that's how Drupal also typically works. Now, of course, you can cache them and so on and so forth to make the search the results much faster and serve the, reduce the page load time and so on and so forth. However, you can actually implement all those views also using Apache Solr, which means that you're actually serving pages from XML files. Now, that speed is tremendous. Let me actually switch to my browser and show you how fast an Apache Solr website serves. I'm going to open Network Today. Let's go to any category on the left hand side. That's the site we have implemented. Let's go to, say, construction real estate. Go to pipe settings, for example. Look at the speed of serving. This is all coming, yes, there are, and there is um, cache use this probably varnish running and so on. So
Rahul, can you hear me?
what
Your voice is breaking, Rahul. We are unable to hear you.
but this is all being served in the password. And then of course we use Linux. So of our client
Rahul, we are unable to hear you at all.
with the India Environment Portal, and you can also find us on Drupal. We are actually a featured service provider on Drupal because of our contributions to Drupal and also being an organization member. I should mention at this stage we will also acquire enterprise partners and also acquire training partners in India. Thank you. Over to you guys for any questions that you may have. Gaurav, you may want to take back control.
Yeah. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Go ahead, Rahul. Ask your question, please.
Yeah. So this is Tabu here from Srijan Dharamshala.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So my question is, I have worked with Google Site Search, and a couple of things I would like to compare Apache Solr with Google Site Search is that first regarding relevance, sorting by relevance. So does Apache Solr also sort by relevance in terms of clicks and page views? And second question is that can Apache Solr also hold a serve a ad network like AdSense, like how Google serves ads on search results for a site? Can Apache Solr also host an ad network?
Okay, I'll do the best I can to answer those. So, the first question on so if you can, I mean, I understand what you're trying to ask is that if a particular article has higher page views than another article, then can we search on that sort of relevance? So my feeling is yes. Solr has nothing to do with it. It is just a facet. If you can tag the article with that information, Solr can search it on relevance. Okay. Now, how do you bring that page view information from say your Apache logs and bring that into and tag that article? Or if you keep a database of with each view, you can't do that. You can't keep a database because you'll be caching and things like that. So all I'm trying to say is if you can tag that article with any information, including page views, or say that this is higher page views, then yes, you can search. But how you would do anything? And the second question was if we can run ads in the search page, if I understand correctly. So yes, certainly that has nothing to do with Solr. You can run Google AdSense or whatever sort of ads. Okay.
Okay, that's good. Thanks.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Anyone else has any questions? They can go ahead and ask. Okay. Any no more? Yeah, Raghav.
Yeah, Raghav. Yeah, I just wanted to ask, like Apache Solr is widely used. So still why do like that some of the websites still use the older like the traditional search engines? I mean, is it?
Raghav, I'm not able to hear you clearly. Can you please be a little louder?
Yeah. Hello.
Raghav, just
Yes, you're clear. Please go on.
Yeah. What I was saying is like Apache Solr is widely used. I mean, and it's also widely used in many websites. But then still there are a few websites which use the traditional search engine. So is it because of like they cannot afford it, or what is the reason behind it?
Okay, so the question is, there are many websites which use traditional searches, probably database searches or Google searches or something, and what could be the reason why these sites are not using Solr?
Yeah, yeah.
So my guess is, firstly, I think it's about what teams implement those searches. Secondly, Apache Solr is based on Lucene, which is a Java-based platform, so it's actually quite resource intensive, and very often deployment and ensuring that servers can keep running while serving Solr, especially for large or large traffic sites and sites with very large amounts of data or nodes. It can be a drain on the servers actually. So I guess it's a combination of both access to technology, knowledge about technology, and managing the infrastructure to run something like Solr. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, okay.